Hey guys, how's it going? Big Birk here, Brad. So this is day 7 of my vegan experiment. So we're gonna do a little recap. I'm gonna give some information, some pros and cons, some research I've done, and put a little bow on this experiment. And tomorrow it is back to eating meat. So some goods, some bads, and some interesting facts. As outlined before, the pros of going vegan. Now, this is all my information. This is all things that I've looked up, and this is information that I've kind of gathered about myself. So don't take this as a nutritional professional opinion, but this is what I've gathered. So you're going to get tons of nutrients. You're going to get a lot of your vitamin A's, vitamin C's. Your cholesterol is going to stay pretty low because you're not getting really any fat, like saturated fats or anything like that. You'll get healthy fats from your nuts, your avocados, things like that, olive oils. You reduce your risk of type 2 diabetes, not having those saturated fats, so that's definitely a good thing for a lot of people. And it's better for your arteries. If you eat a lot of heavy fatty meats, that's definitely going to clog up your arteries. You're also going to have a decreased blood pressure because of all those fats that goes along with your cholesterol. Super high in fiber because you're eating nothing but fibrous vegetables and nuts and things like that. You're having lots of oats. Your potassium is probably going to go up because you're going to consume things like bananas and things like that that are higher in potassium. And you probably will end up losing weight as I did. I'm on day 7 and I've lost anywhere around 5-6 pounds. Not intentionally. So the bad side of it, I found getting into it was really tough. Cost-wise, you're spending more money on things like coconut milk. You're going to consume that a lot more than things like cream. Dairy, it's very easy to get your coffee creamy. The cheese is going to give you a lot of calcium, things like that. So I spent a lot more on vegan options of things. There was not many options when I went out for food unless I go to a vegan specific restaurant. As well as in the grocery store was a little tough trying to find stuff. I spent a lot more time grocery shopping because I was looking for ingredients all the time. Another downside, like I said, accidentally lost weight. My goal was to gain weight through the year, so I'm trying to put on more muscle and more size. And unfortunately, I lost weight because I only have a finite amount of hours in the day to consume because I work a 10-hour day and I go to the gym. I can't eat all the time. It would be different if I had an office job. That would probably be easier. You could have snacks beside you, but I work where I can't have snacks beside me. So I was not consuming the amount of calories I needed to. A lot of the vegan foods were not calorie dense like meat is. And I found it hard to put together a dinner plan. Usually when I get out of work, I go to the grocery store, whatever, or grab stuff for my own work. I found that it was easy. I would just, what do I want to make tonight? Steak, potatoes, and salad or something like that. It was something I was used to. So obviously in the future, if I were to continue down the vegan route, I would become more and more comfortable with grocery shopping. It's just one of those things that takes time, as does any new lifestyle. And again, I would emphasize lifestyle. I think if you're going to switch to being a vegan or any diet, in my personal opinion, don't make it a diet. Diets are what you do for like a week, 2 weeks, 30 days, whatever. You're doing a crash course, not the healthiest for your body. You're doing an immediate, abrupt change. And for me to go from eating animal and animal products every day, every meal, to straight to vegan, real tough on my body. I was having a hard time first 3-4 days, I would say. Was not consuming enough calories, was not getting enough sleep, didn't feel like I was getting enough nutrients. I was trying to find store-bought options, so like vegan pizzas, vegan power bowls, all sorts of stuff like that. Way better if you make it at home. 1, more calorie dense. 2, probably the same price that you're going to be paying. I didn't do an exact budget on it, but it was around the same area. If you're buying, a power bowl with rice and beans and peppers and cauliflower, those are pretty cheap things to buy yourself and just mass produce. Like you're just gonna meal prep for the whole week. On that note, meal prep, huge. If you're on any lifestyle change and you're into something new and you're not sure what you're doing, meal prep, meal prep, meal prep. You definitely need to make yourself some breakfast, some lunches, some dinners, and some snacks throughout the day, because on a vegan diet, you have to consume more meals. Because your meals aren't as calorie dense, you're not going to be able to eat a steak and potatoes and salad and be full for multiple hours. You're going to eat, I did like breaded cauliflower bites. I ate a whole head of cauliflower, plus a whole head of broccoli and a whole head of kale and 2 beets. Well, I was hungry a few hours later and I had to have some more. So that's definitely a con. I would also say that your soy intake on a lot of vegan diets, soy has a lot of synthetic estrogens, as I've talked about before. Those are not good for you. That's going to increase your risk of breast cancer. That's going to increase your myostatosis, which is like a cyst in your ovaries. It's going to decrease the amount of testosterone that you got in your body. So for males, that's not a good thing. You are going to run into a lot of issues if you have synthetic estrogen pumped every meal into your body. So definitely find other ways of getting proteins. Like I said, me being on a meat and an animal diet, animal products, I usually consume a lot of calories, which for me, I want to gain some weight, is good. As well as I find that I stay full for longer. A lot of the meals I ate that were vegan, I didn't feel satisfied. I felt like I couldn't put more food in me because I was just stuffed, like when you eat a bag of chips. You're not full, but you can't eat more. So I found that was a problem as well. Now comes down to the moral issues. By all means, if you don't want to eat meat, don't eat meat. This is not what I'm telling you. I'm saying that I choose to eat meat. You don't have to choose to eat meat, or whatever meats you do choose to eat. If you choose to eat just chicken or turkey or fish, or if you're just choosing eggs and you don't have any other red meats or porks or whatever, that's your choice. I never ran into a moral issue. I think the biggest issue I had this week was I'm a butcher. So for me to sit over a table and cut something all day and look and say, that could be a steak, that could be a roast, this could be this could be that. That's why I ran into issues where I can't eat this. Obviously being a vegan butcher does create a lot of issues. And a little bit of ridicule, to be honest. People are wondering why you're cutting meat if you're not eating meat. I don't have an issue, like a moral issue, with eating meat. I think that if you find a sustainable source, which is a grass-fed, grain-finished, or grass-fed and grass-finished beef, small farms, you're getting free-run or free-range chickens or heritage chickens. If you're getting pasture-raised pork, beef, chicken, things with no hormones, no antibiotics, you're not mass-produced, you're not putting 100,000 chickens in a coop. You are eating local, natural product. I think that you shouldn't have any moral issues with it. They're not in massive killing fields. You're not getting pumped through conveyor belts or nothing like that. You have to know where your food's coming from. And I think for me, working somewhere where I know where the food comes from, it's raised on its own farm, and we cut it whole carcass. I know start to finish the whole process. That makes me feel a lot better about it. So I would encourage you that if you do have moral issues about eating meat, and it is because you think that they're massive killing fields, go find a local butcher shop. Go find a local farmer's market. You want it, like you're doing the same thing for your vegetables. You're making sure your vegetables aren't sprayed with pesticides. You're making sure that you're not eating like mass-produced boxed products. So do the same with your butcher shop. Do the same with your meats, with your eggs, with your milk, all that stuff. Put the effort in. It's your body. You need to know what you're putting into it. I would say if you were to look at the other issues of, a lot of people are saying eating meat causes deforestation. Cattle is causing deforestation, and the methane is causing all sorts of issues with the environment. Yeah, you would be right that there are cattle fields that are causing deforestation, and that the methane from crops or from farm animals are definitely affecting the planet. So is everything else, to be honest. The plastics that we have on all of our packaging. Name me one fruit, vegetable or nut that is not in a plastic. Um, Everything's wrapped in plastic, especially if you are, as I found on the vegan diet, you're going to the supermarket, you're trying to find a vegan option, something you got plastic on it, you got cardboard on it, you got, everything's microwavable. Got to meal prep. When you go to a butcher shop, it's wrapped in paper. Paper degrades a lot better than plastic. Also, you're going to look at crops. Corn is probably the biggest deforestation issue. And corn is used in more than just feeding beef. Corn is used in everything. High fructose sugars. Corn is put into products. It's used as fibers to make plastics, to make cases, to make everything. Corn is in everything. So that's why I say, if you're making a change, don't buy mass-produced beef. You're gonna buy grass-fed, grass-finished or grain-finished beef that's only consuming grain for the last 30 days. It's not eating 2 years full of corn. Way better for the animal, way better for the environment. Palm oils. Palm oil has deforestation of most, like the Philippines, Malaysia, things like that. It's 40% of the deforestation that happens there because they're massive palm oil plants down there. So you have to really look. A lot of the crops that we consume are actually causing deforestation. So going the vegetarian or the vegan option isn't necessarily saving the planet. You have to be cautious of where you're getting your sources from, and you have to be cautious of what you're eating in your own body. Just saying, oh, this is vegetarian, or oh, this is organic, or oh, this is vegan, isn't necessarily better for you than this is natural. So you really, really want to read into your products that you're eating, the products that you're buying, as well as not just taking meat causes deforestation. We'll read into it. Because a lot of the times you get a lot of ads and things like that where you get a lot of people that are just putting hooks. They want their headline to be a hook. They want you to just look at that and come read their article. But a lot of the times people just read the hook and they go, ooh, that's all the information I need to know, and they leave. So I would definitely say stop just reading highlights. Read into articles. Because I looked at an article that said palm oil was causing 40% deforestation. Well, holy, that's a lot of deforestation. Well, you read into the article and you realize it's 40% of certain countries. So again, I didn't just look at the headlines, I went into it. So that's definitely something that I would encourage you guys to do, read into things. Now again, like I said, I'm not telling people what to eat or what not to eat. What I'm saying is my suggestion as somebody who's in the food industry, as somebody who likes to try and live a healthy lifestyle, research what you're eating, research what you're doing. I work somewhere that I'm proud to work because of the animals that we raise, because of the products that we produce. Those are the things that I enjoy about it. That's why I do what I do. I have ethics when it comes to eating meat. I have ethics when it comes to butchering. I've hunted. I've got buddies who hunt. That's definitely another moral issue. Cost effective, probably not. But I would say that hunting is probably one of the better ways to harvest your meat, because you're going out, you're looking for a single animal, you're going to kill that animal and harvest the entire animal. You're using start to finish, and it's as natural as you can get. It's not fed anything other than what it eats, Mother Nature. So I know there's a lot of people that are up in arms about hunting. Now that's a whole other issue to get into, and I can talk about it more in another video, but I really encourage you guys, from my experiment this last week, to kind of look into things. Don't just take things at face value. Don't just say, hey, I'm doing this or I'm doing that because this person said they lost weight in 30 days. Okay, cool. But what is that losing weight doing? Or, hey, I'm doing this because I gained muscle in the first week. Cool, but what is that? Really look into what you're eating and what you're doing and what your lifestyle choices. Don't just do a diet. Do a lifestyle, choose what you want, dig into things, be your own researcher, just like I did for this week. I tried something new. For me, it wasn't convincing that this is the lifestyle I'm gonna go to, because I find that I already ate natural, whole foods before, and I ate more synthetic and more prepackaged and processed foods on this vegan diet than I did before. Now I have a varied diet. I usually eat my fruits, my veggies, my nuts, along with my meats, my cheeses, my dairies, my eggs. So I get all of my variety of foods. Now I found that on the vegan diet, I wasn't necessarily lacking everything I needed, but there was a few things that I wasn't getting in sufficient amounts that I normally did in my regular diet. Thank you to everybody that sent me suggestions, sent me recipes, sent me information, corrected me on a couple of things that I didn't know. I really appreciate that. That definitely helped me make steps towards that to fix problems. But again, I find a lot of the times that I was on the vegan diet, it was, I need this to supplement this. Instead of eating one steak, getting all of my essential amino acids in it, all 8 of them, and all of my fats that I need, all the carbs I need, all the calories I need, I had to eat 4 or 5 fruits and veggies together to get the same nutrients. Now I know that you're going to say, well, you can still get them. Of course you can still get them. But what I'm saying is, for me, it's time effective and cost effective for me to eat one steak than it is to go buy 4 different fruits and veggies, mix them together in the same meal, eat them, plus I would still have to take supplements. And that was the hard thing that I found, that on a vegan diet you are taking an awful lot of supplements, or that you would have to on a long-term vegan diet, because your body needs certain nutrients, and unfortunately fruits, vegetables, and nuts don't necessarily have all those missing nutrients that you get from animal or animal products. I know a lot of people, there's been discussion, I watch documentaries about our teeth shape, and how that affects whether or not we should eat meat or plants or things like that. Now, I'm not a scientist, but we progressed over hundreds of thousands of years from where we were as Neanderthals to where we are now. Now, we used to gather and forage and eat fruits and berries and nuts and plants and things like that, and our teeth, back then, we had sharper canines because any meat we ate was raw. We killed a rat or a monkey or a woolly mammoth or whatever we killed, we had to eat raw. Now, so we had sharp teeth. Over the years, when we finally developed using fire and cooking meat, our brains actually expanded because we could now process that meat much better than just raw meat. You get a lot more calories and a lot more nutrients from cooked meat than you do from raw meat. So our brains expanded massive amounts. We were spending less time eating and foraging than we were before, because once we got the ability of fire to cook food, we could now break down the hard fibers in fruits and veggies. We could break down the roots, we could break down nuts, we could break down meat. So all those hard fibers that we spent a long time eating, now we had extra time and extra energy. So we had the ability to create more, to do more, to have more energy to go out and explore farther and build tools. And we spent more of our days on things that we needed to do instead of just eating. So further to this point, I don't know if anybody's ever realized how many hours a day that monkeys actually eat. It's anywhere between 8 to 10 hours that monkeys are chewing per day. Now, that's why their jaws are so strong. Their jaws are super strong, and their teeth are actually not super sharp, except for their canines, because they're just ripping husk. But because they're eating things with husk and hard fibers, they're actually spending a lot of their day chewing and breaking down those foods. Now, I don't know about you, but I work a job where I can't sit for 10 hours a day chewing and pulling on food and pulling on husks. I gotta get stuff done. I go to the gym, I gotta sleep, I gotta make meals, I gotta work, I gotta drive places, I gotta enjoy life. Now, if I was spending 8 to 10 hours a day constantly chewing on something, 1, it would annoy everybody. 2, my jaw would be sore all the time. Eventually my muscles would work up to it, but I spend a lot of energy eating. Now, if you spend all your energy eating and sitting around, you're not gonna get much else done. Now, for monkeys, that's fine, because that's all they gotta do. They gotta sustain their energy, and they gotta eat, and they gotta mate. That's it. You and I got to pay taxes. You and I got to go to jobs. You and I got to start families, and you and I got to explore the world because that's what we want to do as civilians. Um, so I would say that our teeth are not super sharp like meat predators like lions and things like that was stated in a documentary, but it's because we've learned to use fire to break down those muscles. I mean, you cook a roast or you cook a brisket or something, you're cooking it over heat over long periods of time. That breaks it down. That makes it easy and tender for us to eat. You know, you grill a steak, you're still cooking it, 6 minutes one side, 3-4 minutes the other side. But you're breaking down that muscle fiber so that you can eat it. That's why our teeth aren't super sharp. We're not actually ripping raw meat off of animals anymore because, one, that would be a little weird, and two, we're evolved past that. Now, if lions and tigers could learn how to cook meat, they probably would. They wouldn't need those teeth, and those teeth over time, over generations, would be an evolution, and they would slowly start to dull, just like our teeth did. So for scientists to say that, oh, we have we don't have sharp teeth, so we're not meant to eat meat, isn't necessarily a true statement. We're omnivores. We're meant to eat everything. That's why our brain processes. That's why when you are still on a vegan diet, you need to take supplements so that way you get all the nutrients that you're actually missing from not eating animal products or meat. So I would definitely say that I'm going to leave you with this as the wrap up. I know this was a long video, but I would say that eat what makes you comfortable. Eat what makes you feel good. Don't go into a lifestyle or a diet because your friend said this or you read a headline over there. Watch a documentary, read some books, read some articles, get interested, find out. I mean, food is the thing that you're putting in your body that is going to affect you for the rest of your life. It's not like I have, one snack one day and then it's over. No, this is what you're eating every day. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks. This is what's going to sustain you for the rest of your life. So do your research. Look into it. Find out what you want to eat, what makes you happy. If you want to eat meat every day, eat meat every day. If you don't want to ever eat meat for the rest of your life, don't eat meat for the rest of your life. I'm telling you what I prefer. Now it's time for you to decide what you prefer. Anyway, thanks guys. I really appreciate you tuning in and follow me through this whole week. It has been interesting to say the least. So I'm super excited to get back to meat and animal products tomorrow. Definitely going to kick it off in a big way, so stay tuned, and we'll figure out how we're going to celebrate being back on the meat. All right, thanks guys. Bye.